Welcome to Sunday Springboard with Melanie and Kimberlyn Coaching. I apologize for being late. I was having technical difficulties. I kept saying my welcome and nothing was happening. So I finally had to reboot my laptop, and I think we're going now. So welcome. I'm so happy to be here today. We are actually going to do something a little different. You know, we've been talking about stress and trauma, and instead of continuing on with our talk today about fearlessness, I wanted to add a tool to our toolbox. I've been studying about singing, and I've talked with y'all a little bit before, but today I want to teach you some more about that. So hang on, let me share my screen. All right, so what kind of person are you? Do you always have a song on your lips as you're going through the house and you're washing the dishes? Do you belt it out in the shower while you're singing, or are you more likely to just listen to your music? At church, are you more likely to be quiet because you consider yourself a joyful noise rather than a singer? Well, I have to tell you that singing is powerful and does a lot of great things. We're going to talk about that today. You may have heard of Gabby Giffords. She was a congresswoman who several years back got shot in the head and survived. And then she had to recover and do physical therapy, and she had to get her language back. And she had the thoughts in her head, but she couldn't speak the words. She had what is called aphasia, and she couldn't get the words to come out. And the way they helped her work on getting her words back in her language was singing, because speaking comes from one part of your brain, which is the part that got damaged, but singing comes from all different parts of your brain. So they were able to help her through singing to actually be able to start to get her words back. Their idea behind that was what we have been talking about a lot, is brain plasticity, the fact that brains can change and grow, and we can reconnect those connections, we can break them, we can make new ones, and we can connect them. And using singing, they were able to help her increase her ability to speak the words she was thinking in her head. Isha Alwani is a young woman who has spent her life battling Tourette's. If you know what Tourette's is, you have what they call tics. And so you have uncontrolled movements, uncontrolled sounds. They could be little squeaks. They could be all kind of things that's very annoying, very irritating, and it makes life very hard, especially when you're a child. She was diagnosed as a child, and so she lived through a lot of hard times. Then she found out that singing transformed her life, because when she sings, she does not have her tics. She did a TED Talk on this, and she said that music has saved her life, that music is healing therapy, and we need to make a place for it in our lives. So today, I want to tell you that singing is a prescription for you to have a healthy life, healthy in all the ways. So we're going to talk about the physical, mental, emotional ways it helps us, socially, spiritually, and then it's good for a stress relieving tool. And I'm going to give you some ideas of some ways that you can use singing as a tool. First of all, physically, now these are not all the ways, but these are the ways that really meant a lot to me. So when you're singing, if you're really doing it, you're breathing, you're lifting your shoulders back, you're breathing from your diaphragm if you're doing it right. And so this is actually a lot of work. So it gives your lungs a workout. It tones your facial and your stomach muscles. Much more fun than doing a plank, I'm thinking. It improves your aerobic capacity, your breathing, your heart. It clears your sinuses and your respiratory tubes, and it helps your posture. It also boosts your immune system. It causes oxygen to flow more into your system, and it fights disease and prolongs life expectancy. We're going to talk a little more specifically on what some of the physical things it does in your body in a minute. So it also releases endorphins, which can help ease pain, especially if you've got chronic pain or stuff that you're just having to deal with. Try doing some singing and see if that will help lessen your pain or help you be able to deal with it better. Now this is listening, this next one, but I just had to put it in because listening to classical music can help your insomnia. Now, an interesting thing in all the research I did, Listening to music is good, and there's all kind of benefits you can get from listening, but singing is where the real power is, because it's actually making your body move, and things change in your body and in your brain, and all kind of good things happen. So if you've been just a listener, I'm going to encourage you to start actually do some singing. So here are the sound vibrations. Like I said, when you're singing, you have sound vibrations in your body. So sound therapist Jovita Wallace, she says that these vibrations go straight to what's out of balance and fix it. Now, I've read this to y'all before in the group, but you, if you're not in the group, you probably don't know about this. So these certain sounds, if you sing them, they do certain things in your body. So if you sing the song, the short A sound, like in this will help banish the blues. It forces oxygen into the blood. This signals the brain to release mood lifting endorphins. If you sing the long E sound, like in emit, so E, obviously we're not singing just those sounds, but when we sing words that have these sounds, then this is what happens. So that can boost our alertness. It stimulates the pineal gland, which controls our body's biological clock. So when you're singing this short E sound, like in echo, this stimulates your thyroid gland. This secretes hormones that control the speed by which your digestion and your other bodily processes occur. Who knew all these things happen from singing? So when you sing the long O sound, like in ocean, it stimulates your pancreas, which regulates your blood sugar. And if you sing the double O sound, like in tool, this strengthens your immunity. This activates the spleen, which regulates the production of the infection-fighting white blood cells. Who knew? So singing also helps us mentally. Music activates both the left and the right side of the brain. So this helps our brains function better. This helps us maximize learning and helps us to remember better. Now, you think back when you were a kid. How many things did we learn by song? We learned the alphabet by singing the alphabet song, the ABCs. If you grew up in Sunday school, you probably learned the books of the New Testament with a song. And to this day, if I'm ever, for whatever reason, want to say the books of the Bible, I have to sing it. I would not be able to just say them. I learned it through a song. So singing makes it easier to remember, easier to learn. Singing and music help to reduce test anxiety. So when someone's getting ready to have a test, if they're anxious, obviously their brain is not working as well. Do some music, some singing before the test helps you do better on the test. Singing improves our mental alertness, and this helps focus, helps our concentration, helps our brain function in all the multifunctioning ways of our brain is this massive supercomputer. When we're singing, this helps all of that work better. Now, this is really good for my fellow Toastmaster friends, those of us who are trying to become a better public speakers. Singing actually helps public speaking. It opens your throat as you're singing, and then when you're singing, you have to listen to the pitch and the rhythm of your sounds. This causes you to be more attentive. You notice more your speech, your voice modulation patterns, and this eventually helps you become a better speaker. Singing also helps emotionally. So it releases oxytocin and dopamine. Y'all have heard me talk about those before. Those are some of those good, feel-good hormones. And this makes you energized and uplifted. It lifts your moods, it clears away the blues, it takes your mind off the stresses of the day. Now, emotionally, when you're singing, your confidence increases. You're learning something. You're doing something. It just makes you feel better about yourself. You can actually even sing away your woes. So we're going to actually do that today. You can choose a familiar song. We're going to choose "Mary Had a Little Lamb." Whatever it is that you're worrying about, so whatever's bothering you, you sing those words to your song. So here's an example. Let's say we're going to sing, "My credit card bill is going to be late, gonna be late, gonna be late. My credit card bill is gonna be late, and I'm always gonna be in debt." So you sing that until you feel less anxious. Now, why does this work? It works because when you're singing like this, you feel ridiculous. It's hard to maintain the distress and the anxiety when you're doing something foolish. You're eventually going to be able to laugh at yourself. You step back from the worry and put it in perspective. So you can use singing for some personal therapy that you don't even have to pay for. This is really interesting to me. There's this little organ in our inner ear. Can't really see the picture that great, but it's in there. It's called the sacculus. This little organ responds to the frequencies that we see in music. So lower intensity, higher, let me get this right. Low frequency, high intensity sounds. And it's only responsive to those kind. And these are found in singing. So when your little sacculus hears you singing, it responds within a few seconds of hearing it, and you get immediate pleasure when you sing. I don't know about you, but I love to sing, and I do believe that the moment I start singing, I start to feel better, feel good. So no matter how well you sing, maybe you feel like you don't sing that well or to other people, but the singing itself will make you feel better. So it gives you a greater sense of happiness, it lifts you up, and it's an antidepressant with no side effects. So if you feel a little embarrassed or awkward about singing, go by yourself and sing some and get used to it. And then don't worry about it. I mean, you don't actually ever have to sing around other people, but just maybe you're not even comfortable singing out loud on your own, but think about doing this because it's so helpful. Singing is also a social thing. It helps widen your circle of friends. If you're singing in a group or with a group of friends, you feel a sense of belonging. It gives you just a sense of being with others, enjoying life, and find people that with common interests. Singing also helps us spiritually. Now, they did 2 studies in Canterbury, and 49% of the people said that they received spiritual benefit from singing. And this was not necessarily singing spiritual music, just the act of singing helped them out spiritually. Christians, you can actually get a double whammy. So first, you get all the things I've told you before, the physical, emotional, spiritual, all of that. But then if you're singing a Christian song, a spiritual song, a hymn, or whatever kind of spiritual music you like, you get that double whammy because now you're also worshiping God. You've got these uplifting words that will help you with whatever you're dealing with, and you can sense and feel that you are joining in the heavenly chorus. I think this is a wonderful gift that we have. Now, singing is a tool. I've told you about this today so you can have this in your toolbox. So one of the first things that you can do with it, you can use this to lower your energy and stress level. So when you're triggered and you have that high, remember we said catabolic? Catabolic is destructive energy. So you've got that high catabolic energy because you're stressed and you're triggered and you're worried and you're having all the feels and your heart's racing and all that. Well, singing can help you lower that energy. And on the other end of it, if you've kind of gotten to where you're doing the, remember the adapting, the mitigating, where you're just kind of isolating, being by yourself, you're depressed, you're just hanging out on the couch, you don't have any energy to get up and around, singing can help you raise your energy. Like, I don't know how many people get an active, busy song to help them when they're exercising, to give you energy. So you can use singing to calm yourself down, or you can use it to get yourself energized. You can also use singing to help you learn something. Remember we talked about all the things that we've learned through the years through song. You can continue to do that. If there's something you need to memorize, if there's something you need to learn, put it to a song. See if it will help you learn. Then you just have more fun. Singing is fun. You can make more friends. If you really enjoy it and you would like to find a group, I'm sure there are meetups of people that just sing casually. I don't go to clubs, but if you go to clubs, you can sing karaoke and have a good time doing that. So singing can also be used as a distraction. So if you're trying to break a bad habit, Maybe you're trying to only eat during meals and you're not going to eat between meals. It's between meal and you want to eat, and it's not time to eat, and you want to eat, then sing a song. Do something to distract yourself. You can also use it to distract yourself when you can't get something off your mind. You got something just going around and around and around in your mind. Try singing a song or a couple of songs until you start to be able to feel at peace, and at least for a little while get that out of your brain. Now I had to put this last one on here, enlisting family help. I don't know about you, but maybe your moms did it, maybe you did it with your kids or are doing it now. Kids are so much more willing to help around the house, picking up the toys or cleaning up, put it to a song. Clean up, everybody is clean up, whatever. It really works. I did this with my kids when they were little, and it's definitely a great tool. So just to recap, singing is good for you. It is a great prescription for health in all the ways, physically, mentally, emotionally, socially, spiritually, and it is a great tool. Go out and sing and tell me how it worked. Did it make you feel better? Was it useful for you in helping you to relieve some of your stress? Next week, we're going to get back on talking about fearless. Our last little bit's about how to reduce our fear. And of course, you know that if you would like some help in any of this, I would love to have a visit with you. We can talk and decide if we would resonate to have a coaching relationship. There's a link at the bottom of the show notes. You can click that and schedule a free coaching session, and we can go from there. Meanwhile, go out this week and sing. It's good for you. Bye-bye.